What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Wish you all, whether you're here now live or joining for the replay, a good day, morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever it might be. Today is a good day, and I'm glad that you're here joining us. I appreciate that, and thank you for that. It looks like we have a busy morning in the markets and a lot to take a look at and analyze. We're going to get started with that in just a moment. All right, first I want to welcome everyone in here. Mima, Mad, everyone. Glad you're here with us. All right, we're going to start off with, from what I gather overnight, the Chinese released a statement saying the coronavirus is contained. Whether or not that's the truth or not, we don't know, right? What do I mean by that? The first case was reported in Seattle yesterday. It seems to be spreading worldwide. So how it could be contained, well, that remains to be seen. But it looks like we have flipped off from risk off to some mild risk on. Seen some big moves on the pound that I've seen this morning, coming into this resistance on both the pound Japanese yen and on the pound US dollar. Above this resistance on both pairs opens up the upside. So I'm going to be watching them both intently to see what happens over here. Right now, though, I want to first see them break above this resistance, and then I want to see how price reacts after the break above resistance before looking to get involved. There's other opportunity elsewhere today, that's for sure. We're going to take a look around the markets and see where that is right now. Steve, glad you're joining us again here today. Appreciate that. So I'm not sure what the tone of the pound bid is yet, and anyone that does know, please let us know. I do know that we have some PMIs coming up Friday on the pound. All right, so you got to be aware of that if you're looking to get involved. Again, in nature, I'm a technical trader. I need to be aware of the calendar, though. Speaking of the calendar, we have a rate decision out of the Bank of Canada coming up later at 10 o'clock Eastern time. That's about 1 hour from now. And what else? We have some numbers out of Australia this evening as well. And then tomorrow we have the ECB rate policy statement and the press conference, and followed by big numbers on Friday, not only out of the UK, but also out of the EU, specifically out of France and Germany. What else is going on here this morning? Let's begin with the DXY. So last night, we definitely were seeing the dollar bid. And since then, we've come back down. And basically, we're exactly where we were 24 hours ago. Except 24 hours ago, about a half hour ago, we were down here testing this support and traded up all the way until Asia and then through London. And now we are back down here. So price is definitely still indecisive, still neutral. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't trades to take right now. If you think that the transition has been made to risk off, there is opportunity. But be aware, things could still escalate. Things could still escalate as far as the coronavirus, and we could see risk off price into the markets really quick once again. Euro's just still holding this level over here, this support between, I have it at 1.1084 and 1064. That little supply zone, its support and price is still holding above it. It gets below there, things look pretty ugly for the euro. This is dependent on the dollar. We're going to see what happens. US dollar Japanese yen is still kind of in no man's land between this sloping resistance over here up top and this support over here held. So I am definitely on the sidelines for the euro US dollar. I don't see any type of advantage there. I do see on the Australian dollar, US dollar, and Australian dollar Japanese yen. I took a trade on both of these. Now I watched this last night come into this area over here. And I didn't take a trade down here because that's not my style. Although there are lots of times when I say to myself, if I were day trading and if I were looking to be active, this is where I would take the trade. Although I'm not going to do that because I made the conscious decision not to do that. Right? You have to when you come to a place in your trading where you know what works and you know what you need to do to make money, even if you see money sitting there, you can't take it because by doing that, you're breaking your rules, you're breaking your discipline, and in the long run, that is that is not constructive. That is destructive. So anyway, I took a trade up here where my signal is, okay, and I took a trade also on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, same exact trade almost. Same price made a higher high during London. I took the long over here. And again, we've made that transition. It looks like to risk on. Whether or not it's going to hold, I have no idea. Looks like a good trade to me. Um, Also, still holding this US dollar Canadian dollar trade. I have the Bank of Canada meetings coming off. I like that I have the dollar bid behind me right now, the dollar weakness behind me right now. And you can see that is falling right now as we speak. Uh, that being said, although with the two Australian dollar trades this morning, my plate is full. Looks like the market's at a nice little junction, so I'm going to continue looking to see what's here because looks like a good day to be involved. Euro New Zealand dollar, I see that we're still above this resistance, and it's an important one. Now, could people take that short right over here that we spoke about yesterday? Yeah, it looks like a good trade. I'm not in it, but it looks like a very good trade coming into this strong resistance. We often talk about that you want to take trades into strong resistance and support. You want to sell into strong. This is a strong one right here, so it looks very good. You also see, not that I know that it's there, but possibly, you could see on a very short time frame, the 8 hour here, this head and shoulders pattern. So if that was the case, and you were to just draw yourself in a trend line, you haven't broken it yet, but I would have an entry right over there. Adversely, you get above this resistance right over here. Again, this opens up some work to the upside. So that pair looks pretty much in play and looks good. Euro Japanese yen, again, it fell below this support over here overnight when we were seeing that risk off, but now has come back up and is hugging above this trend line. We could start making some higher highs over here, but we have a little bit of pressure on the euro. Nothing major whatsoever, but I think there's better opportunity. That's what I'm looking for. Um, I do like price over here leaning against this support though. If you're trading against the Japanese yen though, you might want to go with a commodity currency. Speaking of, let's look at the Canadian dollar Japanese yen, which overnight broke this pretty strong support over here, or not strong support, the support that I've been holding for a few days. Came back down and tested this support down here. You can see that right there. And now it's still come up. So it looks healthy and positive. You have the Bank of Canada this morning, though. You have the Bank of Canada this morning, not where you want to look for new opportunity. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. So there's a lot that's beautiful here. Uh, what's most beautiful is this area over here. Price came right off of our support, off this trend line. Uh, Came back into here. I think over here we were looking for some shorts right over there. Right over here we were looking for some shorts. That trade was rejected. Price came up, came back down a little lower than I expected, below this support, and has since been off to the races now with the bid under the British pound. Again, I'm not sure why we're seeing that strong bid under the British pound. If anyone knows, please let me know. Australian dollar, US dollar. Again, we just took a look at that. Let me take for a moment. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Again, if anyone knows why we have a nice bid today under the pound Canadian dollar, otherwise I'll take a look at the news feeds a little later into the session and try to find out. But I am curious Pound Canadian dollar, not so much, and that's because we have a little bit of hesitancy with the Bank of Canada meeting later this morning. Euro US dollar, this is pretty much sideways. Nothing I like over here. Do a little house cleaning. Do a little house cleaning. So we're about 20 minutes now from the opening of the US equities. Normally, you would see price retrace a little bit over here. So far, that's not happening. There could be an indication that we're going to see a trend day today, that New York is actually going to follow through. It seems like for a long time, when I say for a long time, I mean for several years, that you just don't really get so much follow through. Again, the market's also been very compressed for years now, for a few years now. And as we all know, on the smaller time frames, compression leads to expansion. And the markets are getting ready for that expansion to come into them pretty soon, and that's going to open up a lot of trading opportunity. Actually, whether that's this year 2020 or the next year, that's inevitable. It's going to happen soon. We're also going to be seeing the same thing happen in cryptocurrency. We're going to be seeing a big expansion of all the crypto markets, led by Bitcoin, obviously. But that's going to translate into the rest of the markets, opening up lots of great trading opportunity. This is the time right now, these next 6 months, where you really need to be working on your skills and fine tuning your ability and making sure that within 6 months, anyone here working with me has to be profitable. You have to be profitable. You have to be ready to take advantage of what's coming. You have to work hard. You have to put the work in. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take a look over here. This is again holding this nice support over here and now coming up here. This is a nice opportunity for someone looking to take advantage of what looks like could possibly be a risk sentiment change from risk off back to risk on, off of the support down here. Price is contained over here. There's good risk to reward coming into the resistance over there. And then who knows how price reacts around it if you get off. Again, you're just looking to take smart trades with good risk to reward. And this is one of them right now. I'm interested in what's happening with the Swiss franc, Japanese yen. And this also looks pretty good right now. Prices come down. Again, we had this really, first of all, we have a really strong uptrend. Price consolidated in this blue box, and after it broke out really hard and strong. Since we've seen some weak, strong yen over this past 48 hours, and now this looks like this probably might have bottomed out over here, and we might be coming back up. So it looks like an interesting point over here. Again, I'm just noting that it is interesting, and I like the entry. Start making higher highs right above over there after this nice little long wick over there, bottoming out. But we'll see. I'm just going to follow it. I'm not trading it. I want to watch it and see what happens. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, nothing really. I mean, I see we're below this resistance over here. We came back into the support, and we're kind of in no man's land between the resistance and the support. So not much of an edge whatsoever over there. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar seems to be very interesting only because you do have the Bank of Canada, and this could you could see price has been hugging the support. This is going on about a day and a half now, and it's at obviously a critical level. It could break up or down depending on how price reacts on the Canadian dollar today. So not much of an edge there. If you do break down, though, I don't know that there'll be any type of quick pullback, but it'll be one to watch. And same thing to the upside. Maybe the Bank of Canada will give us some type of clarity, which will help this trade, but that clarity is not there until after that big impact news event is out of the way. And finally, let me take a look at, finally, I'm going back to Euro, British pound in 1 second, but I want to look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. also looks very nice over here as we've come back down into this support over here, and price is reversing off it. So this looks like anyone who took this trade over here, this is a good trade. Anyone who saw a price coming down into this support over here, and then saw during London us make a higher high and take that trade, that is a perfect trade, a good one to take. Rusted, that good. Thank you. And Heath, that's awesome. Thanks, Blair, for that. Euro, Swiss franc. Wow. So this is not now for someone. All right, really quick. Obviously, over here we said this was a place to take profit, and then we were looking to see if price came back into this resistance or anywhere along to this trend line resistance over here. I did not expect that price would spike up into there and then come off as it did. Again, you'd have to be short time frame made to do that. Let's even look at a small time frame. Um, yeah, for the quick and the alert, as price came into that area, obviously other traders were watching that as well, and you could see it happened. On my time frame, there's no way I could take advantage of that. There's no way I could take advantage of that. You would have to be really, really, really quick and nimble, and be trading a small time frame glued to the screen to watch that. And so what happens now? What do you do now? Nothing, right? If you didn't get in the trade up here, which I doubt anyone did, there's nothing really to do now. You came back down into this support, and it's just local support, right? So if you're a day trader, this is probably where you took profit as you came back down into the support, and you're neutral now. There's nothing to do. You have to continue waiting to look back towards this resistance or this resistance over here to look for another opportunity to short. But as far as buying or anything right now, I mean, not within my criteria or parameters. All right. Pound just gaining against everything. This opens up opportunity. So I gather if the pound is that sensitive to market data, that this is going to be a big day for the pound. So if the market is that sensitive to market data, then it's going to be really sensitive to these PMI numbers on Friday. So be aware. So that could open up a good trade. And if I was looking to trade off of the news off of that, I'd obviously have to evaluate what's going on Thursday with the pound, and then set my trades accordingly before the news event. Uh, but as far as trading that, I guess what I'm trying to say is this is going to be highly tied to whatever the results are of this PMI, and that I would wait for that. But things look good as far on a lot of pound pairs coming up to really strong resistance, taking it out here against the Swiss franc, right? So now you have, and where is this pair? Let's move her up on the list. Let's look at all the pound pairs really quick. Euro, British pound broke through that support. I don't see an edge over here though. I just want to turn this back over to support. So the next time I look at it, my charts are in order. I don't see an edge over here. All right. Pound Canadian dollar. Again, if we get some news where we put a bid under the Canadian dollar today, that could be an opportunity as we come back down into this broken resistance, and that could come in as support. That could actually offer an opportunity to look at a long on the British pound Canadian dollar going into that PMI. Pound Australian dollar, it's definitely the trade has gotten away, and there's nothing even to look at over here. So over here, I got a little cute in looking to take this trade over here. It's a valid trade off of this then resistance as price went down to make lower lows, trying to get in for a possible break of this neckline, right? But it is a little cute. Uh, Back up 1 second, and if this is a head and shoulders, and again, if the neckline never broke, which means that really, I should have been better about looking for an entry. The neckline never broke. That's the correct entry on the trade, and it never happened. Um, so good lesson for me to look at, good lesson for me to ingrain into my brain. And again, it's really important always to be not only looking to learn, but yes, exactly that, to be really looking to learn, to really have that mindset where you're just pushing yourself to learn every day. I want to continue this pound journey. Pound, Swiss franc. Again, this looks good above this now possibly support area over there. That's not so clear though. Um, and then we have the pound Japanese yen. Oh, I like it above this resistance. I'm not going to look to take. What I'm hoping happens on these pairs is I'm hoping we get some continued follow through today, and then maybe by Friday London session have peeled back a little bit. Why this support still holds, and if the PMI data come up good and we have some long orders waiting, they trigger. All right, that would just be like if things worked out ideally. And if they don't work like that, there's no sense in getting into the trade. Same thing here on the pound US dollar, same exact thing. So we'll see if that happens. So that will mean Thursday evening, price is actually retraced a little bit and is still above this broken resistance, holding as support. And then if the PMI data has come in, I'll have some resting buy orders, and they get to trigger. You know, if it works out like that, that's a trade that I'm interested in taking. Amir, welcome. First of all, Amir, uh, take a second, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Then the next thing you want to do, Amir, is go over to the channel. Stay with us the rest of the session. We've just begun. Then go over to the channel and start watching some of the videos. Don't take a trade right now at all, Amir. Don't take a trade on anything. If you could take a trade and you're asking me where to take that trade, that means you're not ready to trade. What I want to do as Amir is help you be able to see the market and understand and know how to trade yourself, so that you're able to recognize where the setups are, recognize why you're taking that trade, and know, Amir, that you have a good probability of that trade working out in your favor. At least a series of trades will leave you in profit. And I want you to be able to do that yourself. So go ahead and start watching any of these Learn Forex videos over here, and watch the first half hour, 40 minutes of each one of them. Watch the full sessions. Watch 3 or 4 of them, Amir, and then start trading with us. And I think it's going to help you a lot. Taking a look here at gold, still consolidating, um, as we expected. It's going on a few days now, and I still don't know how this is going to resolve itself. So not much of a play there. As we come close right now, 10 minutes into the U.S. equities open, let me check really quickly in on Tesla, up another 7% right now pre-market. And it looks like it's going to be setting new all-time highs today as this parabolic advance continues. Just a word of caution for anyone who trades equities. I mentioned that Paul Tudor Jones, 30-second interview yesterday where he said this reminds him of early 1999. That means, and he said there could still be a lot of this madness to continue. Uh, Listen, Paul Tudor Jones, he's one of the traders that I look to. He, you know, again, he has a history of being on the right side of the market, and when he does talk, he's not someone who's very vocal that often in the public. And when he does, usually what he says is spot on. And what he's saying here is this may be irrational right now, but this could continue for quite a while longer. All right. And that goes for the US indices as well. That's exactly what he's talking about. He's not talking about Tesla. He's talking about this. And again, we're set to make new all-time highs today. Once again, maybe not, but we got open. It looks like we're opening up on the pre-market, and again, we just keep climbing that wall of worry. It looks like oil is down this morning. And it looks like we're trading below this local support down over here. This could be opening up the door for some further falls. So what's interesting here is we have a bit of risk on, um, but oil is trading down. Um, we have a bit of a weak dollar, and oil is trading down. So this is probably, has a lot more to do with the fundamentals of oil being a little bit oversupplied, and there also not being such strong demand because of the weak global economy for oil right now. So there it is. It's important today and on the daily to see if that support level holds or not. And you got to watch it on the daily, because just because you're peaking down now, you could wick back up. You always look for the close on the daily time frame to know if you've broken a support level or not. Here's a bunch of examples of wicks above and then it not holding. DXY making again another test at this support over here that held yesterday. Again, what's going to happen today during New York? Are we finally going to get a trend continuation day? It's looking like it could happen. Yeah, Rustin, there's a good chance. Again, just because the news flipped last night, there's a good chance that things get worse before they get better. There's a good chance things get worse before they get better. And but when I say that news cycle is Asia oriented. So as we getting to New York and Asia's sleeping, probably that won't happen for another 12 hours from now, where you could see reports of an escalation if that is to occur today. But most of that news, unless you see some surprise news coming where there's another reported case in the U.S., probably that wouldn't happen until later in the day. Let's take a look at the pound again. Definitely, and there's actually a really really strong video right here. Just go to the simple, very easy and profitable trading strategy. Uh, if you are a beginner and do not know how to profit, just do this. If you have been trading for a while and have not yet learned to profit, and you're looking for the easy way out, just do this. Pound looks good here. We have the bid. Everyone here, let me know that this was because of some. I believe that. Blair, did you say strong employment numbers? Yep, employment report, which set up a lower odds of a rate cut. And technically speaking, now here on the pound, you're getting above this resistance over here today, right? You're getting above this resistance. So do you chase this breakout here to the upside? I never do. I never chase a breakout of a resistance. What I do is I wait for price to come back and retest that broken resistance, which should now be support. And if that support holds and price resumes off of it, that sets up a really good place to look for a long. Don't don't chase price up here. Prices come a long way over this past session here in London. Um, you have on the calendar on Friday PMI numbers, manufacturing and services coming out of UK, and obviously because you saw the reaction today, that the numbers are very sensitive to the data coming out because that is an indication, obviously, whether or not they're going to lower rates or keep them steady. So because they're so data dependent right now, the pair, and you have a big number coming out on Friday, definitely don't chase up here. The market's going to start forward looking till Friday. Look to see that this support holds. If this support does hold going into Friday, and then price takes you back into that trade on some positive data, looks like an excellent place to take a trade. With a obviously the first resistance right around this area over here. It's light resistance, but this would be a place I would look for taking profit. Let's draw that in. So we're just gonna do a rough sketch right there. So and well, okay. So then maybe you're going back up to there. Could be, or or it could have been what the first inkling I had over here. So and this would be. Hold on, stick with me. That looks better. And if that was the case, the breakout was over here. But right, if you have a different sketch of that, or if you're just viewing it differently than I am, draw it up on your chart and send it over. Love to take a look at it. I see the triangle as well. I think we broke out of it though, and now we're above this resistance over here. Looks very bullish. Rustin, that's got to be the focus on everyone's mind is whether or not we're going to flip back on to risk off really quick on any type of escalation of a spread of this virus. That's your risk in the market right now. But the market definitely, the market's focusing on it's contained. I think because of the SARS scares in the past, I think people and traders are a little bit more rational than they were that time around. We'll see. All right, here we are now on the U.S. equity market opening, and we're going to find out, I think, right now in the next half hour, 40 minutes, whether or not we get any type of trend resumption. And that would mean here the dollar breaking down below the support, or if we see a repeat of yesterday and this area holds again. If that holds again over here, all right, this is a pretty strong sign that this area could very well be holding. We're going to take another look back up here. All right, turn it over to you guys. Whether or not anyone wants to share a chart, go ahead and do that. Or if anyone wants me to pull up a pair, absolutely, I have no problem doing that whatsoever, and taking a look at it as well. Pretty solid. Look at the market. 30-minute look at the market. Yeah, it's clear. Noticing that myself really strongly. You got wrecked as well. Um, Meanwhile, let me take a look at that. 30746. Ooh, excellent, 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 excellent trade. And let me change that resistance, that broken resistance that you peaked off of. And I wonder what the Forex factory percentage is over here. Let's look at that as well. I think my FX book has many more traders on it. This is pretty similar, to the my FX book. I believe my FX book has a lot more lots involved to get that data. But that's a decent number. It's when you get above the 90s, retails above the 90s, that you start seeing some out of whack moves. All right. So question is, what happens over the next 30 minutes here on the dollar? Are we going to see a repeat of yesterday? This is New York. Boom. Right? Or are we going to see price come down and take a look and start making lower lows over here? Now's 100. So let's see if I can pull that up. I mean, the story for the equity markets is continues to be pretty much the same, and it's simply the Fed is providing an enormous amount of liquidity into the markets. Do not stand in the way, right? When the markets start selling off, there's going to be no question that the markets are selling off, and we'll be looking at that, and we're going to be talking about it, because when the markets sell off, the markets sell off hard and fast. All right, and right now that's not the case, and standing in way of this type of liquidity doesn't make any sense. What's happening now is crazy skates, and you just got to let it continue to be crazy. And again, as Paul Tudor Jones just mentioned yesterday, this is just getting started. This could go on for a long time. So at any point the Fed starts, you're going to see some scares in here, and for sure we could even see, some scare that causes even a big 10% pullback. But until the Fed starts taking away liquidity, or until something breaks, do not get in the way. Yeah, me too. I'm always looking for and specifically when we get above 90s, I'm always looking to catch the edge in that, because what I notice when, and then once you get like towards 95 for real, up around that area, you see whatever direction retail is in, you see like a sharp, strong spike the other way, which is I guess where they capitulate. And then kind of the next day you see that retail no longer is so badly wrongly positioned, because a lot of them got stopped out. So it's that spike that I'm looking to look to see, like, see this spike, like this is a spike down. So like if retail was 90% long over here, or 95% long over here, and then you get that spike down which stops them all out, and then as soon as they're all stopped out, you actually see the trade go back towards the direction they were positioned. But not enough of an edge to give me any type of tradable system. I'm in the US dollar, Canadian dollar going into the announcement in 20 minutes. DJ, that's the quote right there. Alan Greenspan. The markets could remain irrational longer than traders could remain solvent. I don't want these two to barons. What a word, right? Baron. Share a video with all of you, a really, really solid motivational video that I watched earlier this morning that I do share with you. If you want to watch at any point, there's the link over there. I definitely think that anyone who watches it will benefit from it. Let's check in with Bitcoin over here, and you can see Bitcoin is just consolidating. So in this area over here, we're consolidating this big move up, and being that we're above this, I have it in here at 83.70 level. It should probably be up a little bit higher now. down, closer to 84.72. And let me actually do that because that's the correct level. Very, very bullish and positive. The fact that it's able to consolidate and maintain that last leg. And if it continues to hold over here and then break up, that's even obviously way more bullish. I would not be surprised if we do come back down and test this area somewhere over here. I think it would be up here now around 79. And we can actually move that up now then too. Litecoin looks good up here. All right. The dollar showing up the same stories as it did yesterday so far. Take notes. All right. Wow, DJ, good lesson right there. I didn't know that Greenspan was quoting. Well, I didn't know that he was taking that quote from Keynes. What's up? What's going on? Good to see you. I want to check in here on the battle between the U.S. dollar and the Japanese yen. Pound US dollar uh, may be offering another opportunity here if it comes down and bounces on an intraday opportunity. I mean, just for this session alone, bounces off of this support over here, and also the DXY bags its head into this resistance right now and turns over. Mark, I know that you have gotten some beautiful trades off on the pound. Were you able to get anything during the London session? Any trades off? Yeah, absolutely. I don't. Uh, Blair, I don't think that's something that you should get involved in right now or trade. But yeah, if they're holding it, so it's more about. I mean, they're going to hold rates. It's more about during the press conference what type of guidance they give. Anything in the statement that says that they're going to be continue to be on hold and that they have a positive outlook for the economy, as well as as long as that's what's said in the press conference and no surprises. I do first of all think the dollar is going to hold this, that this resistance is going to hold, right? Because I'm always under the impression resistance is going to hold until it breaks. So that gives me a little bit of a weak dollar bias. And then I think the Canadian dollar, the Bank of Canada is going to be supportive of the Canadian dollar right here. And being that I've held this, sideways and for so long, I'm willing to hold it into the news event. Do I think I think there's better opportunity this morning if you're looking for short-term trades on the pound US dollar, which is trading technically well as it comes back in and is looking now at this broken resistance. If as long as it holds that support and we see the dollar run into trouble up here, then it looks good. Are we going to see a repeat of yesterday where this is the low right here at the same timing, the low of the day on the dollar, and then the dollar strengthens the rest of the session? That could also happen, but we got an area to work through in order for that to be proven correct. Good, good. I just wanted to make sure to be on the same page as you and clear, definitely. Yeah, Australian dollar saw a nice pump. I guess this is directly after. I mean, you came into that buy zone we had, but I think it was directly related to you know, China saying that the coronavirus has been contained. What's going on, Iron Man? Iron Man, have you competed in any Ironmans themselves? Yeah, we were looking at earlier today, and I think this is uh, boom. I mean, I know that you took the counter trend trade here off the support, came back into that resistance, and then now is really bleeding down and through. I I think this is the fundamentals here, low demand for oil and oversupply. Uh, Man, how hard it is. You were Yep, that's true. You can see that clearly on the 30-minute. Let's take a look at it. Pointed out over here, the higher lows. It's higher lows with a sloping support, right? And I mean, for sure, there's local resistance right up here that it needs to get through in order. But if we came down and just let's step back a second, if we broke out, came back down, tested successfully, come back down and test again, making a higher low, and then resume upwards over here, guys, be cautious, be really, really cautious, and be ready that price could be showing us that it's breaking out. Then you have to follow the price action. Same exact time of day. Same exact time of day. The low here and the low here. US dollar Swiss franc. I believe we have a weak Swiss franc today. So all that I'm seeing is, obviously I'm seeing, strong downtrend. Once we broke out of that blue box, it's continued. Whether or not it's bottoming here, maybe, but what we did see happen was this was obviously the support. It broke, came back off, and then held again as support, and it came right into this resistance and came down here. I think you're neutral right now between this resistance and this support. You're pretty neutral today. I think you have to get above this area if you're looking to go long on this. I think right now, the, you know, you would have to be a really short time minded trader to have taken advantage of this move into the resistance over there, because we came off pretty hard and fast on that spike of the candle down. This remains definitely with a very bearish bias above this resistance over here, and I think you have to get above it before looking to try to even try to consider picking a bottom. Again, this would probably mean the dollar's breaking out if that happens. Is the dollar going to break out? Well, not until it proves itself. This resistance is going to hold until it doesn't. Then at that point, you become long dollar biased. Yeah, that's a good attitude of a trader. Obviously, one that I expressed often. I'm always, always, always striving and looking to learn and to better myself. Um, you're really having trouble up in this area so far. If the euro breaks down below this support down here at 1.1064, it's obviously also dollars breaking out over there to the upside. We're going to see some really strong follow through on the dollar. Um, but right now, is that my instinct is this holds, this resistance holds, and what I like about it, where it's really clear when I know if I'm wrong. Tesla now valued more than Volkswagen. The weak link. Canadian dollar well against me there. Took me out. Anita, I'm watching the price action of the dollar, and definitely what I'm noticing is into New York, price coming back down towards this support over here, this broken resistance. Came back up yesterday and tested into this resistance over here, and then again coming into New York. This time it made a higher low, a lower high, excuse me, a higher low, and has since traded up, and it looks like it's running in possibly to some resistance again. That would also mean if this is the case, that we're also making lower highs. We got to break above 97, 73, and then we'll be taking a look definitely in this area over here. It's got a lot of work to do still. Oof. Earlier this morning, Australian dollar was flying against the Canadian dollar. Here we are. Look at that. Right into this resistance over here. Be aware, you haven't taken out this resistance yet over here. You have the press conference coming up, so the Canadian dollar could still take a turn over here. Now above this resistance over here though, and again, a successful test of that broken resistance as support. On the upside over here, this looks pretty beautiful. She's got to get above this resistance first over here. The dollar story right now. I want to follow it. I appreciate that very much, academic. Seeing you pop in here now and again. Hope that you are able to follow us on the replays. Thanks, DJ. Yeah, let's look at them both. Let's look at them both. Oh, what just happened here? So I think this it could be offering a buying opportunity for sure on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Although definitely the closer you get to this support and this support over here, obviously the better, the stronger the support. But if this is able to wick over here, back above this support line over here, this is also then a solid opportunity. I keep that on the watch list. I think that this could be offering a longer term opportunity here. US dollar, Canadian, US dollar, Swiss franc. So US dollar, Swiss franc is still consolidating below this resistance up here. It's got to get above this resistance in order to be able to take a look, really getting long the US dollar. That would mean that we're having a breakout on the dollar, that we're breaking out on the dollar. It would be above this resistance over here. So right now, the story is on the US dollar, Swiss franc, you're looking to sell the resistance. You're looking to sell off the resistance until you get above it. Dollar is continuing to hum along this morning. You also have the press conference coming up here. Watch for any whiplash. Give that time to develop. As far as the Japanese yen, let's get a look at the yen as a whole. Even versus the euro here, as we come down into the support, it looks like a good area to go ahead and look for a possible buying opportunity. Yen holding strong versus the dollar, even with the strong dollar today. So you got definitely that yen strength. Again, during New York. Across the board, Rustin, well positioned. Good job. You have on the euro Japanese yen, you have the euro coming into this strong support area over here. At the same time, the euro Japanese yen is coming in to this support over here, right? Um, it's certainly possible the euro breaks down over here, and if that happens, then the euro yen is also probably going to go a little bit lower as well, and then you have some further support down here as well. Um, Are we seeing any type of turn of events that really should have any type of prolonged yen strength? I don't know. I don't think so yet. Canadian dollar continuing to fly. Dollar against the, here we go. This looks good also. Coming back up into this area. I like this. I'm going to be watching this closely. Although I'm focused in on this statement over here that DJ shared, right? Just highlight that right there. Growth is expected to be weaker. No, there are times when the breakout will continue without ever looking back. Here's an example of a breakout that really took foot and flew without ever looking back for a retest. You don't always get a retest. The thing is that there are often times that breakouts fail, and much more than they take off without you getting a look. So by getting the retest of the breakout, so the broken resistance becoming support, and then waiting for price to resume back into the trade, that gives you a higher probability of an outcome overall. Because if you take the breakout, most breakouts fail, right? So if you take the breakout, some of these work in your favor. More often than not, they don't, and more often than not, they fail. And by waiting for price to resume to get you back into the trade, you take out the factor of them failing, right? So you're only getting back in as the broken resistance holds the support and gets you back in. It's just a way to take higher profitability trades to increase your win rate. Yeah, Marie had a fantastic day. With a little bit of sarcasm, I say with a lot of sarcasm, I say that. And if the markets weren't at such a critical junction, I would be stepping back over here. But they are at a very critical junction. I want to be really, really highly alert and ready to trade whatever happens either way. Dollar strong again right now during New York. We saw the same thing happen 2 days in a row now. The same exact time we saw this low put in. So we need to make a higher high than this one right here. Otherwise, we're putting in a series of not only lower highs, but higher lows. So turning my attention over here to the pound US dollar. As the support holds over here, we have a ways to go yet. We're not seeing any type of, we're only seeing dollar strength right now, but that could turn. You got it. Absolutely. The temptation is to take the breakout with the FOMO that's going to get away from you if you don't. That's always the case. Is the temptation is to take the breakout because of the fear that you're going to miss it if you don't. But it's a low probability trade. Dollar's really got to get above the whole number over here at 1.11 in order to be able to have any signs of reversing. Go pound leading the way off that support. Gold continues to maintain well off of that pressure from the dollar. Yeah, I'm focused right now, mostly on the Euro US dollar and the dollar index tracking it. I'm looking to see whether or not, obviously, we're at such a critical point here. And I say critical because if we break out above over here, I have to switch my positioning to really long dollars. And Euro US dollar over here also down pretty close to some pretty strong support that if it breaks, there's a while to go. So what I did was I just on that peak of this dollar strength right here, I was just selling my short US dollar positions and positioning into some longs over here because I know where I'm wrong or not over here. As far as any type of swing trades, this morning I took a stab at both the Australian dollar, US dollar, and the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Um, and since I got into those trades right over here, it's against me right now, but still holding them over here. And I like the Australian dollar, US dollar. I was waiting to see if it came down into my target area. Since it has, I'm very willing to take a stab at it and see how it works out. Do I feel a strong conviction towards it? Sometimes if everything lines up, you gotta close your eyes and jump in, and that's what I'm doing. And um, there's a lot happening though, as far as the pound US dollar. Now that we've taken out this resistance over here, I'm forward looking. This is looks like on Friday we have the PMI numbers. The markets are really the pound is really sensitive to the data coming out of the UK. So if going into Friday London session, this continues to hold the support over here, and it's possible to place some long orders going into that PMI numbers. And if they trigger and it works out, that could be a good trade. Same thing here on the pound Japanese yen, also holding above or right at this resistance here, taking a look above it over here. It looks pretty bullish if this holds over here. Again, I will not look for either one of those until Friday London session. What else is going on? There was the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar is at a pretty big level over here, because if it closes above this resistance today and it closes and turns into support, at that point, I'm going to be watching this, see if something develops to the long side, or if we wind up during the press conference gaining, turning here and actually spiking down below this resistance, and it holds as resistance, that could possibly open up something to the downside. It's something to watch. I don't see a trade there yet right now. And you're also on the yen pairs, because we're seeing a lot of yen strength. But for example, euro Japanese yen is coming down towards this support. Canadian dollar Japanese yen also, that's a lot weaker right now than the euro. If she spikes back above and this support holds on the day, it's a pretty bullish sign. Otherwise, we're getting close, leaning into this support over here. So a lot of things are developing. And I'm focused here on the Australian dollar right now, and definitely on the dollar. I have my audio on. You should be able to hear it. Yeah, I took the. I want to first confirm that you have audio. Good. Yeah. Um, I took this. I took this definitely off of coming back down into my buy area off of these two supports. I have a position size such that I have my stop down actually at 0.6795. and I took so below both of these supports. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If this support, this trend line support, and this support down here get taken out, I know I'm wrong on the trade. I have my entry exactly where it was, but I have my entry as a swing trade entry. Yeah, Isaac, I took a long here. Stepping back, right? This looks ugly, but stepping back here off this breakout of this trend line over here, which is held over here, here again. We're back into this area, and price bouncing off it, making a higher high over here during London. That's my entry. I'm in it, and I have my stop set accordingly, where if my stops hit, I'm wrong. But if we hold over here, I think the only thing giving the market this risk off tone is this coronavirus happening in Asia, and you know, if we've seen the worst of it, then then this is a good area to begin looking for the longs over here. It's a very good area, and it's a very good area because I know where I'm wrong. Yeah, Blair, I use the true trend all the time for setting my stops. Blair, I also, if I ever find myself in a position where I've had a few losing trades and I kind of need to get back into the rhythm, then I start focusing in a lot more on the true trend and taking the layups. Oh no, totally. Good luck. Yeah, it's not looking good, but I'm taking it off of again, I'm taking it off of this area of support. Also, I mean, obviously the dollar is also running into this area of resistance. If we turn back down here, the trade's going to be it's just going to work out beautiful. And if we're proven wrong here and we see a big change, meaning big change for the dollar to break above here, it would be a pretty big deal. Uh, and again, that's always been my base case. I don't know when it's going to happen, but same thing here. I agree. Right now, it doesn't look pretty, but I'm taking it as I'm taking it according to my setup and my criteria. I think my stop is pretty far away from the market, so my position size is as such as well. All right. So what are your guys feeling as we get to this really, really critical juncture here on the dollar? Um, for me, it's kind of easy. If we break above this resistance, I'm positioned long dollar. Until then, I'm looking for it to hold, but we're right into this really, really tough area. We've seen 2 days in a row of the dollar during New York um, come and turn at the same point right before the pre-market New York. And not only that, we're seeing higher lows, but at the same time, lower highs. Trump's been putting a little bit of pressure on the euro, pressuring the EU into the trade deal, talking about that he will absolutely put on the tariffs on the car makers if they don't come to some type of a deal. That could be weighing here on the dollar index, but what's important are the technical levels. Could it also be money flowing from overseas into the US equity markets that's helping cause the strength in the dollar? Again, on this euro strength this morning, on this dollar strength this morning, coming into this really important level here on the euro, I unloaded euro shorts, positioned long. Find out really, really soon whether or not this level gives way or not. Market's steady right now. I think that's going to change in the next hour. looking forward, Donald Trump is talking about having a middle class tax cut a few months from now. That's going to be well timed. That's going to be timed. Obviously, he's trying to keep the momentum going in order, obviously, to get reelected. But that's got to be pretty bearish long term. U.S. dollar, again, although everything is pretty much bearish long term, the U.S. dollar, it's not really about that. It's more about what's happening everywhere else, as well as, don't forget, the U.S. dollar is the funding currency of the world. Everyone's got enormous debt. It's denominated in dollars. They need dollars in order to pay back the interest on those loans. It's like a self-perpetuating problem. Or, I mean, Blair, thanks for pointing that out. Um, the thing is, we're at all such important levels here that there's a good chance they hold, but if they break, we could really see some extended moves. I do expect the pound to be leading here if the dollar does turn. Unbelievable. The first $100 billion US car company. Bigger than Volkswagen. They sold 350,000 cars last year. But this could keep going on and on and on for a long time yet. I wouldn't, there may be a time when I short Tesla. This is parabolic. It would be super, super, super interesting to see, to follow the shorts and to see how many shorts have gotten taken out over here and the percentage of the float that are short right now. I did notice that Netflix, which had earnings yesterday, it got caught up against this resistance over here. I'm not sure that, it's a growth story. I'm not sure how much growth is left in Netflix. And then you have Blair, you're Beyond Meat, is, I think, tracking Tesla. Is also getting caught up in that resistance over here. But I like Tesla being parabolic because this got to end badly, really badly. I read for every $50 billion in value he creates, he gets another 1% of the stock. So my man just upped his net worth a bunch right now. I did Mima, but I just noticed that it wasn't right now as we're seeing it. I did think that the pound would be leading to the upside. And I noticed that as we're taking a little bit of a turn here, the pound is lagging a little bit. You can see this down bar over here. And then you can see it's actually the euro that's leading right now up here. So I don't know, time of day, if you're taking a trade now, note the time of the day. You have about an hour left of good trading before New York goes to lunch. I like the pound on a swing time frame here, as long as this support holds going into Friday London session. And if we're trading down into it and then placing buy orders accordingly, and then if we get some good data, those orders trigger with a good risk to reward. But if you are really short time frame range, they're looking, I mean, if you're looking to scalp, right? You're going to scalp over the. I don't see it leading here right now. I'm gonna step aside here for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Awesome. You guys are great. Mima, I have to agree with Mark over there. If you could take some off there, it's a good place to take it off. Although you are seeing a turn, possible turn here in the dollar sentiment this morning, and you are holding above here, above this resistance, above this broken resistance as support now. So, you know, back to basics. You have over here the last swing low, and a stop below there is a pretty good place, or the one before it, right? So, if you are able to lock in some profit over there, then you now have about 25, 30 pips of room to allow this to go. And that's a lot of room, wiggle room above the support over here. And that looks pretty good as well. You have a really good entry, and because you have such a good entry, you get to manage this trade. Now, it's a good position to be in. If we see a bigger turn in the dollar here, and we're just in no man's land right now. Here's London, right? And we are just in the dead center. If we were breaking down here, then you would have a little bit more of an edge for keeping it. But more importantly is looking forward. It's now Wednesday, so you do have tomorrow, and maybe through New York, if the dollar turns, there's a possibility that the pound continues putting on some nice gains. But sometime on Thursday, I think, or at least Friday during Asia, the pound's going to be looking towards this, right? And people are going to take profits before we get these numbers to see what they are. Pack. The real-time trade right now is a big one. Now, the real-time trade right now is go ahead and this is the real-time trade and the best trade you can make. So I actually, on Twitter, I just mentioned something. The best investment that you can make is the one in yourself. And right now, in all fairness, in all seriousness, if you're asking that question, then the smartest thing you can do is not put on a trade, is take some time, go over some of these videos over here. Anything that says learn Forex, watching it. If you need to start where you can start making money and learn how to make money, start here on this system right here, Pax. That's the best investment you can make right now, is investing your time right now and just learning, so that you could come in here and trade with us, and you'll be recognizing the setups yourself, and you'll know what you should be trading, and then you could bounce ideas off of us. All right, we want to see you succeed, and by succeeding in the markets, you need to have that foundation where you understand what's going on, you understand how to put on a trade, why you're putting on that trade, rather than just looking for other people's suggestions, which you're never going to make it that way. Oh, Tesla. So I know that Tesla is one of the top 5 investments of millennials. Amazon is. I don't know if Apple is or is not. And Bitcoin is. I don't know what the other 2 are. But right now, all of Robinhood is holding tight. So we're coming to, I'm watching over here the higher lows and the lower highs. So we're coming to an inflection point. I mean, Martin, like when we were right here today, this is how we started the day. And so we noted, remember yesterday, is this time of day, price traded up, and then prices traded up, and it's coming off right now though. And is there bullish pressure? The fact that coming into New York on both days in a row and making a higher low is definitely bullish pressure, but it's neutral. Look, you're also seeing the lower highs and the higher lows. So you're coming to that inflection point where it could break. You know, we still got some big data ahead of us this week, including the ECB tomorrow. So will the dollar make a breakout before that happens? Probably not, right? Time of day, got about another half hour of some big moves. It looks like, there's a possibility we break back down to the downside, maybe. That's where the momentum currently is. We're just at such an important critical level. It just needs to be watched closely. Don't be neutral between support and resistance, and you're halfway between. So just lean neutral and don't get a bias and let the market prove to you which way it's going to go. Big support down here on the euro, trading below that. I think there's much more for the downside, but going into it, you got to look for that support to hold. Euro's got some work to do. It's got to get above the whole number here and stay above it in order for the pressure of the bears to be taken off. The bears definitely have a lot of momentum. The dollar bulls definitely have the momentum right now. But it's a battle right now. It's a battle between the bears and the bulls. No, I don't think so. You have the press conference coming up right now. Pair is going to be volatile trading into the press conference. If watching it technically, I mean the bank, the central bank just went dovish, so you got to factor that in. Yeah, coming into here, it's the same as the Australian dollar, US dollar. If you hit your level, and price bounces off it, it's a trade to take, and a good trade to take. Because of the change of the sentiment of the central bank, I'm not sure that I'm so excited about taking this trade any longer. But if this resistance doesn't hold on the daily, then that's a sign that this was a false break, and then you could see some downside. Alternatively, maybe after the press conference we regain some momentum. Maybe we get a look onto here, see how price reacts off this resistance up here. You have this horizontal resistance, strong resistance, and this trend line resistance. As you get closer to there, that gives you a better opportunity if price bounces off of it to look for a short trade. If the dollar does reverse here and we see some dollar weakness, And then we also see this doesn't hold, this broken resistance here doesn't hold, then that's a sign also that you know, you might want to look getting short. But I think right now it's too soon. You have the press conference coming up, and it's not the moment to be looking for an entry here. Thanks for live right now. Yeah, it's pretty. So just stepping back on the euro, there's really strong support. I have it between right here 6.4 and 8.4, and so 70. You're right on the money. I mean, this is a box in that area. You get below it though, and you know you're opening up a lot of downside. But right here, coming into it, again this morning, I sold euro US dollar shorts and got positioned long off of it. That's big. DJ, I wish you held this trade all year long. Also, the pound Australian dollar is up like 1 point something percent. No, it was. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's probably the pound Canadian dollar. So I mean, no, Martin, it's not how I trade. I mean, if we get a break over here, I would look for the retest. Is it possible we get a clean break? If we're breaking down below there and the dollar starts breaking out, there's a lot of built up energy over here, and it is possible that this happens to be one of the breakouts that gets away from you. But that's not how I trade it. So I would not trade. I would not take I never take the breakout. I never take the breakout. It's a low probability trade. There are some that get away from you and go straight down, right? Look over here. This one went straight. This was during the holiday, the low liquidity, the big inflows of money. This one just kept going. That could happen over here. And on those type of trades, I just don't get involved. You know, I take my stop below the support, but I don't take the entry. I wait for a retest of the broken support, see if it holds as resistance, and if price resumes in, I get in. Right? I'm looking for the higher probability trade if it develops. Otherwise, it's the market. The market's always going to be there, and there's always opportunity. Now, as it stands, this is so far the trade of the year, DJ. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I mean, so Warren Buffett's time horizon is very long, right? The guy buys and holds companies for decades, right? His time is not the best over the, you know, he didn't buy Amazon, he didn't get involved into the tech. He's buying Apple at the top. He's holding $128 billion cash that would be better served in gold. Ray Dalio is right about that. Listen, my uncle owned 2 newspaper routes his entire life, invested in the stock market, retired young, when I say young, I mean he retired. You know, uh, I don't know if it was his. I think it was. I think it was very early 60s. Um, a multimillionaire, and the guy was trading along the same time as Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has had pretty darn good conditions to be making his fortune in. He's also had some very good government backing during the crisis when he bought Ford, when he laid down $5 billion with the backing of the U.S. government behind him. So I'm a fan of so many traders. Warren Buffett is not one of them. But with investing too, you gotta timing is everything. But it turns out, the longer you're holding, the more of a chance of you being profitable. Yep, break and retest. I'm all in that short for sure. I think we all will be. Martin, a break and a retest, 100%. Because not only you have this big zone in here to fill, you and forget about it if we break below there, right? And then if we break below there, then we're going back to fill that gap on the euro US dollar. But if the dollar breaks out here, the dollar could be testing the highs up here. We're a long way from there. We're a long way from there. Right now, we're fighting this battle. We're fighting this battle. We're fighting this battle on, I like looking on the 30-minute. Oh, is this the moment? Is this the moment to short Tesla? It might be, folks. The ARK fund has a 4,000 price target, 4,000 US dollar price target on Tesla. I bet against that. Let's take a look at the euro, British pound. Coming back down into this support over here. Let's see what happens going into these PMIs. Martin, that depends on how much I'm risking on that trade and why I am risking what I'm risking on that trade. Depending on that depends. The amount of percentage I'm looking to gain depends on what I'm risking. It depends on the particular setup and why I'm deciding to risk what I'm risking. I do get all into that into detail into the course on the section on risk and money management and placing your stops. I get into all those details.
on the position size and risk per trade and where to place your stop losses. Both these are connected. And depending on where I'm placing my stop and why I'm placing it, I then know how much I'm risking on that trade. And therefore, when I know how much I'm risking on my trade, I then know what my position size is. And then as well as other factors for risk to reward come into play as far as moving my stop loss and also when I'm locking in profits and why. Oh, I'm sorry, you were asking how much during a year that I make. Is that what you were asking? I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about an individual trade. Again, I read these comments really quick because I can't be on the screen that's streaming and read the comments. I have to switch to a different screen. So I kind of like I really speed read all the comments, and I missed that uh, very well. I missed that well. Uh, Martin, I think that I think that anyone who's spending their time here day after day, I would like to see, uh, you know, within 3 to 6 months to definitely be knowing exactly what they're doing and in the process of doing it. So therefore, in a year, be making between 20 and 25%, which is phenomenal. That's my goal. As far as I trade multiple different strategies and systems, and they all have varying risk as well as overall gains. Um, so it depends on what time horizon, what system I'm trading, and why and for what reasons. Plus one Pikachu. Yeah, Pikachu. This is the first time we've seen you in here. Most of the people in the room right now have been in here for a couple of months every day. Um, Thanks for telling them what's up. Market so far this session, there's been a whiplash, right? We're kind of back where we started. Session started here, came back up, tested the high over here, came back down, and is it possible another? I don't think so. Is it possible another higher low is being put in here? Maybe. We have to keep following it. We're coming to an inflection point. Is it going to break during lunchtime New York? I doubt it. Um, but it's kind of, we got some nice clarity to look at. Oh, I should draw this in differently. Yeah, Pikachu solo, and God bless you. Yeah, really. You're welcome to join us. Listen, there's no charge. You're welcome to be here and join us. Go ahead, and you know what, the system is this is a complete working system. The performance is also tracked. Go ahead and start with that. Seems like you've had some bad experiences. This is all free. Everything is included. Everything you'll ever need to profit from the markets, it's all included, including, most importantly, risk management, position sizing. It's all here for you, and it's all free, including the track performance on it. And I get that you've had some bad experiences, and you know, again, this is the live streams every day are better education than you're going to get anywhere else, I think, and it's all free. But man, if I could give you a hug, I'd give you for a hug. You seem pretty wounded to me, and I feel bad for that. Jesse, so that's a good question. Initially, as it looked like the virus had started spreading, you were seeing risk off, meaning you were seeing the Japanese yen appreciate. You could see that in all Japanese yen pairs, and that's the initial scare, and then the flight to safety. You can see all Japanese yen pairs have come off, except the pound. The pound is obviously putting up fireworks. Um, and now here's the thing, though, Jesse. It's not black and white. If it continues to get worse, you will see back further strengthening of the Japanese yen and that flight to risk off. Now, this happened years ago with the SARS virus in Asia, and back then it impacted the markets a lot more because it was the first time this type of thing was happening, and people were really scared and concerned. You could see that already the authorities, whether they're in China, all other Asian countries, or who are not even letting Chinese now enter their country, and as well as over on the west coast of the U.S., where you have a lot of Asians entering. The customs know what they're looking for. They're looking for any symptoms of the virus and quarantining those people. Odds are that the virus is going to be contained, and the market's going to go ahead and be able to kind of just keep moving forward, unless things escalate and get worse. That you never know. It's always a possibility, but I'm not too concerned about it personally at this point. If we start seeing it really picking up and spreading, okay, then obviously it's going to factor in a lot more than it is right now. Yeah, Pico, Pico, Pico. I see it. It's clear you're looking for attention, and now you're getting it, and that makes you happy. And you know, okay. You don't really want to get into it. That's all the time you're going to get from me. I told you exactly what you need to do if you're interested, and it's all free, and it's better than anything you'll ever come across. And it's up to you if you want to take advantage of it or not. You know, here's the link for you, but and then you can let that speak for itself. But yeah, clearly you're in here looking for attention, and yeah, um, I'm not going to give you the negative attention. So I'm interested to see here because I was wondering if that was bottoming long term. So I guess, you know, I don't know that we're going to see any sharp movement. It's pretty range bound and sideways. When you get those type of slow bleeds like here on they could be powerful, and that's kind of what you're seeing a little bit on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. These slow bleeds are powerful, but it's hard. I can't. I don't have an edge either way because price is pretty sideways. Yeah, CAD moved like a cent on that, huh? You got wrecked. I mean, just to be clear, I put together this course that include the mentoring and the signals in it, and uh, you're not going to see me day to day at all talking about it. It's there. I'm mentioning it because you said that I'm not. It's definitely something that I'm including as a benefit to each and everyone, and forget about even believing in it. I think this is with all my heart and soul, and all my intention to help others. This is all here and available. But on a day to day for our live streams, I'm not talking about that. I will not be talking about it. Uh, and I'm going to continue focusing on doing exactly what we do every day together. But I don't want to give the wrong impression. Ooh. Wait, um, wait a second. I had to put a little friend over there in a timeout, but I want to put him take that off. hold on 1 second. Bear with me a minute. I want to get Pico out of this his little time out here, because if he's challenged me or something, I'll toast him, and and we could hold on. Yeah, and that's why I just wanted to be upfront about that. You got wrecked only because, you know, again, this guy is totally distracted everything. um, so his purpose was served. That's exactly what he was looking to do. But that's over with and done with. And the only reason I elaborated on that you got wrecked was only for clarity, and that's all. Now I'm kind of focused right here between this point, and we're almost dead center. You're right, Heath. I should have, without even bringing the intention there, just gone ahead and initially ban him, because it's not worth it. Appreciate that. No, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for that. Just now heading into the top of the hour. Tough session. Tough session in that is not giving us any type of clarity whatsoever. So I don't. I wonder what's gonna bring in the afternoon here in New York. I do know that the market must be beginning to be looking forward here to the ECB tomorrow, but again, have to follow the charts and what's happening on the charts, and the markets, you know, they don't have to wait for the ECB in order to make a move. That's for sure. There are a lot of other factors in play over here. I'm going to be really tightly glued to the charts over these next 24 hours. I'm going to be on early tomorrow. I'm not getting off just yet. Soon, but not just yet. But I'm going to be on early tomorrow. Definitely for the press conference tomorrow. So I'll probably jump on probably about I don't know, between 8:20 and 8:30. Normally, I use that time for myself. That's after I've gotten my oldest to school, and I usually use that time for myself. But tomorrow I'll jump on early for sure. Yeah, that is. Thanks, Hanero. Have a great day. Appreciate you always. Appreciate everything you bring, and all of you guys. You guys are everyone brings so much, and that's what makes this work right now. And I'm grateful for that. I think this is a perfect time to end the session anyway. Good timing, Hanero, and all of you. I appreciate all of you from the heart. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.